Maverick Christian says, anyone else think that Black Panther without T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman, feels like a James Bond movie without James Bond? Yeah, it's interesting you say that. Going back to my poster before, you do expect to see Black Panther in a Black Panther movie, don't you? Well, you used to, right? No?
I don't know. All I know is that clip between Namor and the woman who is leading the Wakanda folk. Can't remember her name. They have this big, long, extended discussion around each of their cultures and what it means to them. And I thought, can't they go out and like beat up an alien or something? What's the time? Like, aren't they clocking in or out? Like, at what point do they start beating something up? I don't need to hear about each other's cultural horror stories.
Yeah, show me their culture. Don't
Victimhood.
tell me their culture.
Yeah, show me their cultural horror stories. Speaking of cultural horror stories,
well, I didn't actually see this clip, but yeah, the big story is how Namor is being shaken up. Let's say, Andre, how do you want to approach this shit?
Yeah, sure. Because
blender, really.
Well, let's begin with some history here. And here I really want to have Paul's take, because granted, this is something that has only been made artificial Latin American history after the fact. It wasn't like that in the comics, but still, I would love to hear your thoughts, because we even get into the Spanish side of things here. This comes to us from Bounding Into Comics. That's where I was made aware of this. Tom, do you have the link to the page? And feel free to put it up on stage, because Marvel Studios executive Victoria Alonso, she explained that they have retconned the origin and the meaning of Namor's name, because in the comics, from what I understand, the traditional way of pronouncing the name has been Namor. And the meaning of the name, ever since the character first appeared, what it means is Avenging Son. That's a pretty badass name, isn't it? Avenging Son.
Sounds like a heavy metal band.
It does that too, and many really awesome names, they do sound like heavy metal songs. I mean, there are some Vikings that even have had like metal songs written after them because their names are so metal, like Eric the Red.
I mean, that sounds like a Norwegian metal band.
Yeah. But
we're Avenging Son.
Because Victoria Alonso, she spoke to Deadline Hollywood that even recorded her, where she then explained that they have retconned the name. Because Namor is no longer pronounced Namor, it is now pronounced Namor, which is more like Spanishified. And it is derived from El Niño Sin Amor. Sin Amor, Namor. That's basically the origin of the name. So Namor, instead of being the avenging son, he is now the poor little boy who grew up without love. That is how they have retconned the name into El Niño que creció sin amor. And I don't know if that's a good change. Tom, if you go down further down here, we have like a tweet embedded in this article where she explains it herself in Spanish, no less. See if we can play back that. Further down, there we have the background of the name, what it always was to be there.
Now, Namor, I keep joking. Namor
is over there.
I know we talked to him already.
El niño sin amor. Por eso le dicen Namor.
¿En serio?
El niño que creció sin amor. Namor.
So, yeah.
Now, Namor, I keep joking. Namor
is over there.
I know we talked to him already.
El niño sin amor. Por eso le dicen Namor.
¿En serio?
El niño que creció sin amor. Namor.
So I'm only vaguely familiar with Namor in the comics, and I have severely mixed feelings on this. I think it's kind of cool that they make him this mishmash Aztec Mayan thing that's cool enough, depending on how they execute it. And then suddenly they establish something Spanish into his name, which is something the Aztecs, the Mayans, and everyone from there definitely would not have spoken natively. So I'm curious, Polly, are you impressed?
I was going to say, did you point out that? I was just going to say, did you point out that this is what it roughly translates to here, Andre? The child without love?
Yes, I did point that out.
Okay, sorry, I missed that.
And either way, so Polly, do you feel represented? Do you feel empowered by this change of the character?
No.
Would you care to elaborate on that?
And that's the show, folks.
Andre, I dare you to make that into your full clip and publish it.
That's
Yeah, I'll
Polly
clip
tonight.
that. I'll clip that.
I want to thank Polly for being here. No.
For further analysis, catch me on Latino Slant and Midnight's Edge Espanol. Okay. Either way, I did a play on this video because this was from a few days ago where I took her clip and then I clipped it with Juan Gabriel singing a very sad song because I thought I actually think she was joking. And if it's serious, this is a complete disaster. I thought it's a play on words, and she's talking in Spanish with a Spanish speaking reporter, and the reporter saying, "En serio? Are you serious?"
Even she couldn't believe it.
Well, no, what I'm saying is that what I took from it now, I didn't take it as she, that she was, this is really, this is going to be the movie. Now, if it is, complete disaster. I just took it as she was doing a play on words. Namor, sin amor, namor, na amor, no love. But so again, I took it as a joke. I made a short clip where I interspliced it with Juan Gabriel singing a classic Mexican sad song, and then I showed some images of bug-eyed Namor, and that was it. I'm speechless. If it is serious,
the vast majority of people do not know who Namor is. So when they see this movie, they're going to see Namor for the first time. And I don't think it'll matter.
God, I mean, what I do know is every time I put up a Namor clip and anything that has to do with Tenoch the last couple of years, we're getting a lot of response on my channel. And yeah, I mean, if you're saying she's an egotist and she's not joking, like, listen, then it's problematic.
She seemed pretty serious to me. I mean, I'm just going off of my observation, but
again, either way, it's a disaster because it's like if she's serious, then it's a play on words in Spanish. Now you're making his origin story a thing of Spanish conquest and
that's the irony.
Mayan indigenous people. Correct. That's the irony. Now,
sorry.
Your laundry's ready.
That's my dry. Now I've said this before and I'll say it again. What it comes down to is this is Coogler's Namor, whatever you want to call it. Right? This is not MC. This is not the comic purist Namor. This is Coogler's vision. And I think it's interesting as far as what he's when I hear him talking about it. Anything else that has to do with representation or identity politics, I'm out. I tune out because at this point I just want to see the movie. There's one acting scene that they showed. I was really, really, not happy with it. Not just because Namor and Tenoch, the acting was bad. Everyone in that scene was bad, and cinematic wise, it looked like they were filming a play. Okay, hold on.
Sounds like you're wrong to me, Paulie.
He's got his own buzzer.
Yeah, he's got his own buzzer.
He's rushing to throw in the scented pad into the dryer.
The dryer sheet, yeah.
The dryer sheet.
Yeah, it's my dry. Sorry about that.
Never use dryer sheets, everyone. All it does is add plastic to your clothing. That's the trick. Never use dryer sheets.
So yeah, so I don't know where were we?
Namor no mas.
Looked boring and did not have a performative
The
nature to
scene.
him that incited.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
so
talking about the scene that you were
the actual
unhappy with.
scene where he jumps out of the water and he's all scared and bug-eyed, which I don't know why Namor would ever be scared.
Well, he's a loveless child. He didn't have anyone to love him when he was growing up, so obviously he's scared.
I hope not, because they show his mom, you know, and there's images of his mom in the film. I don't know, which it looks lovely, whatever. But listen, people are just gonna not go and see this because of there's so many reasons, right? Like what Tom, as far as, you know, the treatment of Chadwick Boseman's legacy, and then just the whole reimagining of Namor.
The poster with that Aztec headdress is pretty cool.
You know, it's all right. You know, here's the thing: is that I've seen better Aztec headdresses on dancers over there at Olvera,
and which you put money into their, you know, into the G-string. I get it, but
but yeah,
no, but it looked really neat. I mean, I'm just being completely honest with you. That's just that poster looked pretty badass to me, and I don't know what its meaning is. But is a question: is he supposed to be ageless? Is he supposed to have been an Aztec or Mayan? I mean, the Aztecs are in Mexico, Mayas in South America, correct?
No, they're all Mexico. It's a different part of Mexico.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Mayans go down a little bit further to Central America, but they're making this iteration a Yucatan Peninsula Mayan. But
he's modern era. He's modern era. He's not 1,000 years old.
Well,
yeah, that's certainly would be true to the comics, because of the comics, Namor is not 1,000 years old. He's very much of the modern age. Of course, he's like an ancient character. I think he was like made in the 30s, but he's like a contemporary dude who is kind of like Spock, half Atlantean, half human, which is why he doesn't fully belong in either world. And he can kind of like walk in both worlds, because he can pass for a human, but he has the strength and the endurance and everything of the Atlanteans, who are at the bottom of the ocean and have to survive the pressures of all of the ocean above them. So
that's gone now. He's no longer that.
No, he may very well still be that. I'm inclined to believe that he is still that he is a young man. He just comes from a society where, just like Wakanda, they have this highly romanticized African background, right? That this is like an imagined Africa without any kind of colonizers from an activist point of view. Probably the same thing goes with this Atlantis. This is a place where I would imagine then some kind of imaginary Mayan culture was allowed to continue.
And to be honest with you,
this day.
Well, that's honestly the thing I have the least issue with, because you just mentioned like Wakanda.
That is cool. I don't mind that.
You know, but my issue is them trying to sell it to, you know, like this big cultural thing, like they did with Black Panther. It's like, yeah, you have a lot of people who now believe that Wakanda is a real fucking place. You realize that, right?
Well, there's so many levels of discussion with this movie, which is incredible. It really is. That's why I always like, you know, kind of dig these issues, you know, where you can attack it from different ways, like, you know, but at the end of the day, is it entertaining? And from that scene, it was awful. I mean, the way it was filmed, it was like, you know, it looked like it was filmed on the Obi-Wan Kenobi set. It was flat. People were people were talking over their shoulder. I mean, that's a play, Chato. That's not
Did
cinema.
they use the volume to shoot a lot of this? Not that has anything to do with the writing. I'm just asking.
It probably was filmed on the Obi-Wan set, using
Have you
like
seen
the
that
same
scene, guys, that I'm
technology
talking
and
about?
everything.
Have you guys seen that scene where he pops up out of the water and talks to Angela Bassett?
No, the only one I watched is the one with Riri, and I thought it was so laughably bad.
I saw a scene with him and Angela Bassett. It was very dark, and they were talking about each other's backgrounds, and they were kind of confronting each other. Is that the one you're talking about? It was horrible.
Yes.
That's the one I meant. I went, my God, that's in the film. Why would I want to watch this?
Right. And the thing is that this will be a lot of people's first time checking out Tenoch Huerta as an actor. And regardless of what I think about his politics, I like his acting in Narcos Mexico and in Forever Purge. This is if that's a hint, this is not going to end well.
He's not a tall guy, is he?
He is average height. Okay. Diego Luna is smaller than he is, and Diego's kind of a little dude, and they've worked off. He just looks big because he just kind of looks like a big guy. But in this, I mean, I wasn't impressed with his physique at all either. But man, there's just so many problems with this, and I want to go back to your headdress thing that you talked about it because that you liked it.
I'm sorry. I'm apologizing now if I have to.
No, Paul. Because here's the thing.
Because I'm a wimp.
Is that this is how Hollywood is representing us, right? With these hodgepodge headpieces, with this goofy, Aztec music playing underneath Namor when he shows up. It's Andor and him being from the jungle. I'm like, what the F? Just come on, guys, come on. This is it, but I'm not surprised. And there's.
He looks like he was loving wearing that headdress, but I mean, he is gay.
Namor's gay?
No,
Tenoch?
Tenoch.
Oh well, I mean,
that makes so much sense.
No, but he looked like he really was loving it.
I mean, he's got 2 children. I don't know if that really matters. I don't know if any of that matters.
That really doesn't matter in California if you're gay.
No. I didn't. Well, I just mentioned in terms of how much he was enjoying wearing the headset. I know there's no reason why. I mean, that's not an issue at all. I don't want to get
it's not an issue because I would never think that with his performance in Narcos. I mean, he's a menace. He's an absolute drug cartel menace, and that's what I was hoping for, that alpha presence to be in Namor, because that's what Namor is. He does not like anyone from the surface. He does not discriminate. You start messing with my people, that's when I'm going to show up.
The big challenge is that Atlantis is a great device because we know nothing about it and it's all legendary, and we can kind of sort of believe that there's going to be a underwater breathing individual who shows up, whereas I don't know of any secret underground underwater Yucatanians ever discovered by National Geographic.
Well, you're right and you're not right. I mean, there's actually an Atlantean Toltec statues facing towards the Atlantic in Mexico. I mean, it's there. There is a connection, but to me, I don't care. That it's like, okay, but again, if it's
entertaining and it works, who cares? Right? That's what you're saying. If it ends up being a good movie that's entertaining, then all bets are off. Then it's we love you.
It's really changed. And the more I'm hearing some of the actors who are in the roles, giving their interviews in Spanish, there's stuff that they were making up on the set. So they created a Mayan call sign like Wakanda Forever called Likliktalokan. And they'll scream it, and then they're doing this Jaws thing. That's something that the actors created. They made it up. And I'm like, good God.
Well, one thing I've learned in my 17 years, actors are stupid.
So is that like the Cleveland Indians tomahawk chop they've come up with?
Script. What's that?
I say, is that like the Cleveland Indians tomahawk chop, or is that the Atlanta Braves tomahawk chop? Is that what?
No, I think they're like the Jaws of the.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, like they
wanted something. You scared me, Paulie. Don't do that. Whoa! Don't do that. Whoa! Oh no! Paulie's doing the. Ah! Ah!
Who really cares?
Wasn't that scary? Scary.
But and there's that other thing, Andre, is that he doesn't call himself Namor or Namor. His enemies do. Well,
yes,
who
correct.
are his enemies? Which enemies are you talking about?